Welcome. In this video, we're going to learn how to plan a project from scratch, following all the steps that we have to undertake, and in this precise chronological order that you see on the screen. We're going to do it with a software, which is called Project Libre. If you haven't heard from it or you don't know how to use it, you have other tutorials in this same channel. So go for them, watch them, and come back here. It's very easy to use, it's free, and I really recommend it to all of you if you don't want to spend money in the professional, let's call it like the professional software. So let's start planning our project. The first step of a plan is always defining the tasks. I need to know which are the tasks that we want to plan, because these are going to be like the matter of my plan. Later on I will add more things to it, but I need my list of tasks. To do so, we will use, of course, the work breakdown structure, which is a classic tool for project managers, which is what? It's just the concept of breaking down from the general plan to the more detailed phases, sub-phases, tasks, subtasks, and so on, right? So we need to get to the level of detail of the tasks. You have a tutorial in this same channel regarding this matter, so if you want to check it out, you have the version just like the theoretical version, and then you have the same thing but applied with Project Libre, the software that I was telling you about. So what if we had this plan to start planning, and we have Project Libre? So here we go. I have Project Libre here, and I'm going to start to plan my project. My project actually is about a birthday party that I'm throwing, right? So the birthday party is like the concept, the general concept, and then it has some phases. I need, for instance, my guests, I need a place to do it, I need food and beverages, and so on, right? So I have many things in here, I don't want to get into the detail, you get the point. Now, once I have all this, the only thing I have to start doing with my work breakdown structure with Project Libre is to select the ones that are going to be phases inside of birthday party, and by using the menu called Tarea in the Spanish version, or Task in the English version, and then the option called Sangrar in the Spanish version, or Indent in the English one, then you can do this. You can find these two levels. While we're building it up, we can always check with this option if we're going right, WBS in the menu Task, and we see that it's going right. We have the birthday party and then the different phases, right? I go back to the Gantt chart because I'm going to try to give it a little bit more detail to, for instance, guests. So I go to guests, actually I go underneath guests because I want to insert new tasks with the menu task, and insert is the option. So here I go. What do I have to do to have guests in my party? Well, first of all, I'm going to, I don't know, design an invitation, a beautiful one that I want to send later on. And finally, I will have the confirmation list, right, of all the people that are going to come to my party. Now, once I have these, what I do is just select these ones and then make this indent again, right? I have now 3 levels: birthday party, guests, and the rest of the tasks. I can always check, as we said, in here, WBS. It works, perfect. Now, let's go with the second one. What about place? I need a place to do this thing, right? So I start building it up a little bit with some space. I'm going to do this in a hotel. So I don't know, this party is going to be at a hotel. So first of all, I got to search for a hotel, a good one that allows me to throw the party. Then I have to make the reservation of the hotel. And finally, I have to pay, full pay of the hotel. Here we go. And you know how it goes, right? We select the tasks that go inside of place, and we go to task, and again the same option to this one, and so on and so on and so on. I could go on like forever doing it with the other ones. An easy one is food and beverages. I just have to make the initial list to buy, then buy it, and then maybe store it. All right, store the food and beverages because I need to store it before I do the party. So same drill every time, right? So this is for the first step. We already have, as you can see here with this beautiful option, the WBS completed. I have it all here. Great. Now, second of the steps. The second of the steps is task sequencing. This means the predecessors. This means that there are some tasks in my plan that cannot be done until others have finished. It wouldn't make sense any other way, right? Let's find an example. With guests, it wouldn't make any sense if I send the invitation without having designed first. I mean, I have to design first the invitation and then I send it, right? So how can I say this? The easy way is with this column in here that we find. Let me make it clearer for you with the whole screen here available. Here we go. We have send invitation. This is the one, and it has this column called predecessors, and this is where we go. The predecessor of number 4 is actually number 3. So this is what I write here, number 3. And this is what I get. Take a look at the screen. Here we go, right? Now it's a predecessor. Design invitation is the predecessor of sending the invitation. This that I did with this column called predecessors can also be done with the mouse if I want to. Let me get a little bit closer so I can do it differently. I cannot have the confirmation list until I have sent the invitation, right? So this is the time for me to do this. Watch it. Beautiful. It works, right? Same thing. And now if we watch the predecessors column, you see that the number 4 has appeared. I haven't written it down. Project Libre has written it for me. So the same thing I could do with the other ones. Take a look, easy. I first search the hotel and then make the reservation of the hotel, of course. And after the reservation, I can pay it. And same thing with the food and beverages, right? Many tasks in most of my plans, of course, are going to be sequential, very sequential, just like these ones in here, because it makes sense. Of course, there are things which make sense one after the other. But these predecessors are just related to the tasks inside of a phase. But what happens if we have to link with predecessors tasks that are not in the same phase? A very good example is this one. For making the reservation of the hotel, of course, I have to have searched before for a hotel and find one that I love, right? But I need some other thing. I cannot make the reservation until what? Until I have completed the confirmation list, the final list of all the people that I would like to invite to my party and that they have confirmed. So I add another predecessor and take a look. This predecessor goes from one phase, the guests phase, to another one, the place phase, right? So it's perfectly possible. And I could even do it differently. And I'm going to do this in a different way. Take a look at this example in here with food and beverages, right? I have to make the initial list and so on. But what do I need to do the initial list of the things that I need? Well, probably I also need the confirmation list, because depending on how many people finally come to my party, maybe the list is going to be different, right? So in this case, of course, I could do this, just like I did before, right? This could be one of them, right? I don't start to do the list without the confirmation of my guest. That could be one way of doing this, from this task to this task in here. But I'm going to undo this because I want to do it differently. I'm going to do it phase by phase. It's going to be cleaner and clearer, because what I'm going to say is that, take a look at what I'm doing here with the predecessors. I don't want to start with the food and beverages until the guests is done. The guest phase is like the whole predecessor of the food and beverages phase, right? Let me just correct this, because every time I see it, it was a type mismatch, but it really blows my mind every time I see it. So now we have it, right? You see, we have gas, we have place, we have food and beverages, and they are connected somehow. This is the second step. This is the predecessor's step, right? Task sequencing. This is how we call it. So now we have the order. We have all the tasks have an order. But now it's the time for assigning the resources. So let's try to assign resources. Resources in Project Libre are assigned with 2 steps. The first step is telling Project Libre which are the resources we have, and the second one is assigning them to the tasks. So let's go with the first one. For the first one, we have to use the third menu here on top. We have it here with the name of recurso in Spanish, or resources, and then the first option on the left, which is called recursos as well. So here we go. Where it says nombre or name, this is the place where we put the name of the resources. In this case, I'm one of the workers in here, but I'm not alone in here. I have Noemi helping me out, and some other friends that helped me build this body, right? So I have all the human resources in here. While we're doing this, of course, it would be nice to think of other kind of resources. Maybe not all of them are going to be like people, right? So maybe we need things. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I need actually, I don't know. Sandwiches could be nice for the party. Sandwiches could be nice, right? I also need, I don't know, drinks. It may be alcoholic or not, but anyway, drinks. I have to buy drinks. I also have to buy balloons. I have to, I don't know. There are many kind of resources that I need for this, right? So in this case, take a look. The difference is that these three in here are human resources, and these three in here are not exactly human. They are more material, right? So this is what we have to clearly state in this column in here called type. This is where we say how we will account for these resources. So human resources are accounted by work, trabajo in Spanish. But what about sandwiches? They are not trabajo, they are not work, they are material. What about drinks? Material. What about balloons? Material as well, right? So that's the thing. We have the possibility of adding different kind of resources. Now that was the first step, just telling Project Libre that we have these resources. But now let's go to the second one, which is assigning them to the tasks. And to do so, we go back to the Gantt chart, which is always the best and easiest way to operate. And we will use the last column on the right. You see here, names of the resources. This is the name of it. So here, what we have to do is to assign the resources to the task. For instance, who is going to be in charge of designing the invitation? Mark is going to be the one. And same thing with the rest. Because all this, somehow this phase of guest, he's going to be in charge. But Noemi is going to be the one in charge for the hotel thing, right? And even for paying. She's going to be in charge of everything. And then we have my friend here, Jordi, who's going to be in charge of all this food and beverages thing, right? Here we go. All of it. Perfect. At the same moment that I'm assigning these resources, you see that we have human resources appearing here in my Gantt chart. But I want to assign more than this. I want to assign also the materials. So what if we wanted to account for the food and beverages things when we buy them, right? Because they have a cost. So, okay, what I got to do is, first of all, assign them here. So let me make it clear for you. Here I go. I go here. This is the task buy. Jordi has to buy. This is the person in charge of this. He's going to spend some hours doing this. But he also needs other things like sandwiches and drinks. Is that right? These are the things that he's going to buy. We put them here as resources because they are actually resources that we need. We finally will have to use those drinks and buy those drinks and buy those sandwiches, and it will have a cost, right? I also want to make another example. If you remember, we had another resource called balloons, right? Okay, so we need balloons to decorate the place in which we're going to do this, right? So once we have the hotel reservation and we have maybe paid this hotel, maybe we need to add another task in here, which is going to be decoration of the place. Yeah, decoration of the place. Who's going to be in charge of this? Well, I don't know. Noemi seems to be in charge of all the things in the hotel, so why not? She's going to be the one. But she will also need some resources, like balloons. And we add the balloons in here. Yeah? Now, if I just say this, balloons, and that's the only thing I write here, what we're assigning here is just one unit, one individual unit of balloons. Just like if there was just one balloon all over the room. It would be like a pour party, right? We want more than one balloon, right? Why is this? Because if you go to recursos, you will see that we have the balloons. And I can even go to the right to state which is the price of the balloons. So I can go like, I don't know, maybe it's like 2 cents of a euro, 20 cents of a euro per balloon, right? And so I want this to be accounted. When I say balloons in here, I'm only assigning one. How can I assign more than one resource, more than one balloon to to this task in here? Well, the way is this. We have on the menu task, we have this option called assign resources. You see this one? Assign resources. This is the one we have. So in here, when I just click on the name of one of the tasks, whatever it is, you see that this is changing because it's adapting, right? So it's telling me which are the resources that are assigned to every task. Take a look at decoration. We have Noemi, human resource, and balloons, material resource. And here you have a number. These are the units. So this is the place where we can calculate how many resources of this kind, how many balloons in this case, we're going to use. This is going to be a huge party, so we're going to use 300 balloons. And this is the way of having the units assigned. So we have human resources and then material resources as well. This is the way, an easy way, to assign the resources, both human and material. Okay, beautiful. If we go back for a second to our list, we've done the first three in here, right? We assigned resources. And now we have to go for the fourth. So we have the duration estimation. So this is the time to go back to this second column and start thinking, okay, Mark, how many days do you need to design the invitation? Mark is a very busy man, so he needs like 3 days to do so. And to send the invitation, just a couple. And to have the confirmation list, just a couple more to get all the emails that we will receive. And what about searching the hotel? Just give me 1 week, for instance, right? 1 full week. And what about the reservation? Well, it's quite automatic, just 1 day. And to pay the hotel, give me a couple because I have to find the money or rob a bank or something. And what about the decoration with the balloons and so on? Well, maybe I need a few days, maybe even we need 4 days to do so. This is how we do it, as simple as this. We have the duration assigned, and now little by little you see how our how our Gantt chart is getting a little bit like, having a little bit of life in here. You see that it's getting a little bit more space. It's, I don't know, looks like a plan now. It starts to look like a plan. So, and here we go now. If we follow the steps, you see that now we have the chronogram. Okay, good news for you. If you're using Project Libre or any kind of software like this, step number 5, take a look. This is it, right? This is a chronogram. We already have it. It's been building up little by little while we add all this information. So this is the process. Of course, we have another one coming in, the 6th and final step, which is improving the plan. Yeah. But this is a very important topic, and we will dedicate a different video to it because it takes a lot of time and we have to concentrate on this. But we already covered with the first 5, so we could say somehow that we already have a plan. This is a plan, ladies and gentlemen, we already have it. So let's summarize a little bit what we did, step by step. First, we added all the tasks and the subtasks and the phases and everything we needed to build our work breakdown structure. This is the first step. The second step is adding the predecessors, maybe with this column called predecessors or maybe using the mouse in here. And once we have it, we go for the resources, which first of all, they need to be here in this list. They might be work, human kind of resources, or maybe material. And once we have them here in this list, we go to the Gantt chart and we assign them in the last column on the right. If they are material ones, you know that we have to use this particular option in here called assign resources, where we can easily change the number of units of any kind of resource that we're using. And once we have this, we just have to add the duration. Here we go, in this column. And finally, we get, of course, the plan, the chronogram, which is something that we can already use and start to execute if we want it, right? So this was all of it. This is the process that we have to follow every time that we want to plan any kind of project. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned how to do it. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to put them on the comments. If you like it, just like it and share it. It's nice for me to know that it's useful to anybody, right? And be aware of the next videos that we will be uploading, because they're going to have to do precisely with trying to improve these plans and make them even more efficient, talking about techniques of improvement, how to be more efficient and efficacious at the same time. But this is going to be in upcoming videos. So thanks for the attention, and I hope you learned a lot. See you in the next video.